Good afternoon, peeps. It's your girl Blessed E Gaza Diva, and welcome to the Blessed E Gaza Diva channel. Now, today we will take a look at some of the explanation around the evidences that have been used in Vybz Kartel case. Now, yesterday the prosecutors revealed that they had 19 other circumstantial evidences that they could have used to provide the jury with sentencing platforms upon which Vybz Kartel and his co-accused would have met a similar fate. Now, the first thing I want to question is, why are they so sure and confident that regardless of the evidence used, that there would have been a sentencing, one of the magnitude or at the level at which it was executed? Food for thought. Nonetheless, let's take a look at circumstantial evidence and what it means. So circumstantial evidence is evidence that relies on an inference. Basically, an inference means something you're guessing, something you're putting together, something you're discussing, something you are thinking through. So an inference. So if you see, say for example, in the case of his text messages, they would have taken the messages, looked at them and said, okay, he sent this to X at X time. This is the following message, so this is his intent. Follow me. It is an inference. It is not direct evidence. Direct evidence would have been them taking the phone, seeing him texting the message, and without a shadow of a doubt, they could prove categorically that he is the person who sent that message. So circumstantial evidence on its own, right, it allows for more than one explanation. Different pieces of circumstantial evidences may be required so that each corroborates with the conclusion. So in the case again of the text messages, they couldn't just take one piece of message and say, okay, this means he committed the crime. So this is why it was so key for the prosecutor to try and pitch, patch and match all of their so-called text messages together and put it in such a form that in their mind it made sense. So this is why people need to understand, for all of those who like to talk about, oh, he did it and the juror was given, you have to be cautious of the messages or the information that you're using as evidence to sentence somebody, and especially someone, to a life imprisonment. Because so you have a little bit of baking soda, you have a little bit of baking powder, you have a little bit of vanilla, you have a little bit of browning, you have a little bit of vinegar, you have a little bit of lime juice, and they have put that all together and concocted one big dirty pudding. Because all those ingredients, they don't fit together, but they are then saying to the prosecutors, we pitchy-patchy it and we put it together, it is enough to do and make a life sentencing inference. So do what you have to do. Here is the evidence, work with it. This is why he can, Jeremy that is, categorically speak in court that regardless of whatever they used to sentence Vybz Kartel, he had 19 other instances or circumstantial evidences upon which we could and would have given him a life sentence. And this is why I am so confused, you know. This lawyer, they are talking about he's smart. He's not too smart. He's not smart, because I want to know, why is he so sure and confident in himself that regardless of what was used, they would still come back with a guilty verdict with a life sentencing? I thought it was the jurors who were making the decision. Food for thought again, people. They think we're fool around here. Because I have had situations in the past where I have said, and I can go on record for this, someone stole a very personal item from me, which I shipped from the United States, and it was very valuable, just no, it was valuable to the point where it got me, sensible minded, open minded, prone, practical Gaza Diva, to get to the point and say, listen, anyhow I don't get back my things from that person, I'm going to kill them. Literally going to kill them. And it got ahead, or got to a point where it was even being discussed, and discussed to the point where oh Lord have mercy, just leave it at that. Nonetheless, it never materialized. It is Jamaican colloquial term, me gonna mash up the boy there, me gonna kick down the girl there, anyhow me not get my things. I kill me, I go kill a boy, I go dash with a girl there. I don't care how many people want to now say, oh no, I wouldn't say that and whatever. So the conversation, that audio conversation that was circulating and going around, it simply means that he's human and things can happen. But again, with circumstantial evidence, there are two different things. So let me give you an example, right, of a circumstantial evidence that they have to be cautious of how you let that into court. So say for example, he said all of that to problem child on the phone, and problem child went and said, we didn't hear the audios, no, oh, is him kill him because he told me that he was going to do it. Where is the proof? Did you see him over the body committing the crime? And people are trying to negate that fact, and this is why circumstantial evidence, if used or presented to a jury, it has to be so carefully done that the shadow of doubt is removed completely. And in this case, it was not. There were many gaps and many loopholes that the defense is pointing out to the prosecutors right now, even as we speak in court, right? So if problem child said, oh yes, he committed the crime because he told me, no, there's no proof of it. Did you see him in the house, right? So the star witness said he saw him in the house. Why can't the star witness tell us where the body is? On the video that they released, why I didn't see him standing over a body? How do I know that video wasn't made earlier? Where in that it's proven without a shadow of a doubt that the act was indeed committed, or the alleged crime was indeed committed. A testimony is another form of circumstantial evidence. So a testimony can be direct evidence or it can be circumstantial. For instance, a witness saying that she saw a defendant stab up a victim, right, is providing direct evidence, which in contrast, if the witness says, I see her with a knife running up the road when the crime happened, that doesn't mean that that's a testimony. That is an inference, because the crime happened, you saw the person running with the knife. What if she took the knife from the person who committed the crime to go and hide it? People, this case is so messed up. But you have a lot of people around the internet who are not knowledgeable of the law, and they don't understand litigation or legal measures, all of which have to be stacked up properly for a case to be founded as one that is practical, one that is sensible, and one that is accurate. So far, there is no structure to this case, other than, as he said, there are 19 other circumstantial evidence. That's what Jeremy Taylor presented in court yesterday, upon which they could have sentenced Vybz Kartel. So let's go. I didn't even touch on it too much yesterday, but just let's take a quick look at what Jeremy Taylor, said in court yesterday. So he basically said and urged the panel of appeal judges to treat the text messages, what text messages, between me and you, we chop up the boy lizard fine and dash him away now. As long as we live, them can never find him. Which prosecutors say was sent from his phone, right? And then they said, the response said, yeah man, a mince meat that. Now, if that even came from the phone, how do you know that it was he who sent the message, right? Was Vybz Kartel at the same location as the device when the text message was sent? How can you prove that it was indeed Vybz Kartel who sent the message and it was not someone else? How can they even prove that Vybz Kartel had the phone in his possession at the time of that message? I want the people who keep throwing it out there, he did it, tell me in the comment section. No, this is not for my regular subscribers and Gaza Nation, because all you're going to hear is we're biased, we're emotionally tangled in this case. Yes, we are emotionally tangled in this case because our artist was given a life sentence along with his co-accused for a crime he did not commit. So we are emotionally tangled. And even if they were looking to say, okay, it came from his phone and he sent it and he was a part of it, he was an accomplice, how do you give a man life sentence, a life sentence for something of this nature? You don't have a body, and we know all the works. So I need you people in the comment section, or instead of cursing out the other people like you've been doing since the update, explain what I just asked you. What they need to do is they need to go and find the evidence on the network side of things to corroborate their story and prove all of what they're claiming, that he indeed sent the phone, and make sure that whatever is shown in the metadata matches with time and location that he was present. And if they can do that unequivocally, again, clear, as lucid as can be, then we can have a discussion about Vybz Kartel being guilty. Until that time, Vybz Kartel is innocent without a shadow of a doubt. The whole situation, the whole case management is flawed in its entirety, and I'm dying just to see what the 3 appellate judges will come back with, because right now the prosecutors are bent on drawing or putting or casting responsibilities on the juror. So today the case continued in court, and basically we will hear from the defense side of things later in the evening to see how it went in court. But Jeremy Taylor is bent on making sure that he drives home the message of we did nothing wrong. And people, that is expected. You don't expect the prosecutors to come and say, oh, we erred, even though they've been kicking themselves in the foot, because they're now saying the evidence that they provided may have been too strong or presented to the jury in such a strong light, and it should have been watered down probably. So in essence, they're saying, yeah, we kind of screwed up, but we still made the right decision. You can't be playing with people's lives and talking about, oh yeah, we screwed up, but we made the right decision. No, it is unethical. And because it is so unethical and it's so wrong, the proper judicial ramifications need to take effect, whether it's on Paula Llewellyn, whether it is on the Mr. Campbell him, whether it is on Mr. Barrett and Mr. Jeremy Taylor. So people, there are many bases and many grounds upon which this case warrants an acquittal. However, we are not the 3 appellate judges. We just need to sit back and wait and see what they come with after hearing the arguments from both sides, which should be concluded today because they're back in court, and the defense should rebut some of the foolery or gaping holes that were raised by the prosecution team. After that, we will hear, I'm not sure of the exact timeline or time frame, but we should hear some news as to how this will progress. Do leave your thoughts below. Let me know if you think the circumstantial evidence used to sentence Vybz Kartel and the co-accused for life was worthy, it was clean, it was accurate, and it was right to be used without a shadow of a doubt. As usual, let's have the discussion below. Do have a good day, peeps, until we talk again.